Hi Chopped, my name is Rick Barbata. I'm coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, and it is hot today. Atlanta is a great hip growing town, and the food scene in this town is world class. My girlfriend and I eat out a lot and find the choices of restaurants to be excellent, diverse, and any ethnicity you can think of, we can find it here. I'm a recent transplant to Atlanta from Portland, Maine. I was born and raised in Hollywood, California, and I grew up with Sicilian grandparents and was exposed to great cooking from a very early age. My father's mother was Sicilian, and she made the most amazing food. I remember from really young watching her make homemade pasta, homemade sausages. There was always a thing of tomato sauce on the stove simmering for 12 hours. Unbelievably fresh and honest food. And that cooking started me on my path and adventure of food and cooking and the respect I have for great food. Right after high school, I got a job at Spago in Hollywood and was working with Wolfgang Puck. I was there just the whole California cuisine thing was taking off, and Wolfgang wasn't on the national radar yet. But salmon and goat cheese on a pizza? What? Nobody heard of that. He started that. I was there. And that was the start of all my cooking. In the years since, I've worked with some top chefs. I worked with Michael Roberts, I worked with Michel Richard, Alain Ducasse, and many others. I'm fortunate to have had the opportunity to work with these guys because it helped me form my own talents as a chef. Because we have the savory, rich flavors of the pork and the flavors of the potatoes. And I think a little bit of apple flavor in the Swiss chard would make a nice addition. Soon after working there, I decided I needed to travel and learn a little bit more, and I flew to Italy with no contacts. But I soon found a job in a restaurant in Sicily, a family-run restaurant in Sicily, near a town where my family was from, so they knew my last name, and I got in the door. I worked all over Italy and Sicily and worked my way up through France. I learned early what to do and what not to do. I worked in France for a while, and a couple months I stuck my finger in one of the guy's sauces. They have these little sauté saucepans. Put it in my to taste it. He slapped me in the face, and I cried. I didn't know, and I cried. And later he gave me a spoon. He says, you have done a well enough job that I'm giving you a spoon now. And he goes, keep it in your back pocket. Whenever you need to taste the sauce, use a spoon. Because your finger doesn't give you the true flavor of sauce. That blew my mind. I spent a total of 2 years in Europe before coming home to LA. But I came home with the ability to speak French and Italian. I do speak Spanish fluently, growing up in LA.
Yo voy a cocinar las cebollas.
Y puedo hablar español.
Y después las cebollas es muy café.
While I was in Hollywood, I got a great job working for a film catering company. Pretty soon I was running my own catering truck, feeding movie stars and cast and crew on giant movie sets. I worked on Titanic, I worked on Independence Day, and that was an amazing job. And these are my ingredients for my Swiss chard. So I will saute these onions, caramelize them slightly. When they're almost caramelized, I will add my apples. Then I will add my beautiful Swiss chard. And all this is done, of course, with extra virgin olive oil, salt, and pepper. That's it. 4 ingredients. Good enough heat, and that's look at that. Wow. And I understand the science of cooking as well or better than most people. And that's what makes me a phenomenal chef. I had a restaurant in Maine. Well, a while ago, a friend called me from Maine and said he was ready to open a restaurant. And this is the guy that I went to Mexico with. We had worked in a restaurant in LA. We decided to take a road trip through Mexico in a 69 VW van. Ended up in Cancun. We lived there a year. The most amazing experience I've ever had in my life traveling. We did that for a year. I learned a tremendous amount about regional Mexican cooking, and my Spanish improved greatly. Well, afterwards, we opened a restaurant in Portland, Maine, where he was from. We had talked about it many times. So I flew out to Maine. We found a place within 6 months. And within 3 months after that, we had our own restaurant. It's called Rick's. Hey, I'm Rick. We didn't know what else to call it, and I'm the chef. We spent $40,000 on that restaurant, and at the end of that first year, we made about $1.5 million in gross sales from my cooking. And it was from my cooking. And as a chef, the unbelievable experience of working on a Friday, Saturday night, looking out of my window and seeing a full dining room and 30 people waiting to eat my food was mind-blowing. We sold that concept, moved on, and I kept getting a bunch of calls from my ex-customers to cater, graduations and weddings and stuff. Soon I found myself as a caterer again. About 2 years ago, I started a personal chef business where I come into your house, I shop And in one day, I make 5 days worth of meals for you and your family. It got really popular when I was in Maine. People save money with this service, of course, after eating out and buying frozen foods and stuff. When you can have fresh food made by an amazing chef like me, it makes sense. So I've been doing that for a while, and I decided to cook for you guys in my kitchen, since that's what I do, is I cook in people's kitchens. We're gonna make a real simple meal today. We're making a pork dish with coffee and molasses. It's a very southern dish. The pork is marinated in coffee and molasses. Roasted new potatoes, which you can see right here. Beautiful little roasted new potatoes. We're gonna roast those with olive oil. I hope my enthusiasm for cooking and food and what I do can rub off through your show. I would love to be on your show. I think I have the talent to make it work, and I think I have the personality. I'm a lot of fun to watch. Part of my repertoire in food is simplicity and the beautiful aspect of food, and I'm just a helper, and I'm just helping it come together. Food should never be rushed or forced into something. It is what it is, and if you let it be as simple as possible, it always comes together. And I'm always amazed and humbled by the power of cooking and food, and I'm very, very fortunate to do what I do. And when I'm not working, I enjoy a lot of things. I enjoy restoring old British motorcycles, working on old cars, play drums and guitar and stuff with local musicians. And I would love to own another restaurant. I'm sure someday I will. If I play my cards right, I'm sure that'll happen. Anyway, thank you everyone. Hope to see you in New York. Again, my name is Rick Barbata here in Atlanta, and it is hot today. So cooking has taken me all over the world. I've been doing it a long time. And I love it. It's part of my life.
It is your life.
It is my life. And it always will be.